The anime begins with a meeting between the school principal and the new teacher Nueno, who is joining the school. There, the principal reveals some information about the place and tells him that this place is called the Spirit Gathering and that all students have been harmed by evil spirits. Driven by this disturbing information, Nueno investigates the matter and begins searching the entire city using his crystal. He discovers that this country emits a spiritual magnetic field, and after visiting many places, he confirms the existence of a magnetic field different from that found in nature. This field arises when the balance preserved by the circulating yin and yang energy collapses, attracting spiritual energy and creating a spiritual magnetic field. He realizes that this may be the reason for the many supernatural sightings, and believes that over time, the country will enter a twilight state close to the spiritual world. During his search, suspicious objects appear, approaching and attacking him, confirming his theory about the danger of the place. Meanwhile, the school is bustling with students who are heading inside to attend their classes. In the principal's office, he was completely convinced of hiring Nueno at the school because he is the only one in Japan with psychic power, and he assured that he is capable of caring for the children and protecting them from this new generation. For his part, Nueno assures him that they will be in safe hands. In the class that will be teacher Nueno's responsibility, student Katsuya was using his phone while his friend Makoto warned him not to do this, so as not to anger the new teacher. But Katsuya didn't care. When Katsuya sees his friend Hiroshi, he notices that Hiroshi is ignoring everyone and acting strangely, which prevents him from calling out to him because of the disagreement between them. Here, Kyoko intervenes and goes to Hiroshi, asking him why he has changed so much, and started ignoring everyone, believing that he wants his new classmates to consider him a serious person. But Hiroshi turns his face to the other side, which annoys Kyoko, so she asks him to greet them since they are in the same class. But he doesn't respond, which leads to her anger and shouting at him. To break the tension, Katsuya intervenes and changes the conversation by asking Kyoko about the new teacher. She tells them that she saw him and his appearance isn't bad, that she knows him well because he lived in the same neighborhood as her, and that he is nice and has a mysterious power. The students are surprised that he possesses a mysterious power, so Kyoko tells them that it's a mystery and that he has used his power before to exorcise spirits, which surprises Hiroshi while the rest of the students are not convinced and think Kyoko is lying. But suddenly they hear a strange sound approaching them that catches everyone's attention, and the lights begin to go out in the corridors completely. At that moment, Nueno was on his way to his class while playing scary music, which causes the students to fear when they hear this music, and they feel more afraid when they see him approaching them. When he enters the class and appears to them, their fear increases even more from seeing him, but the scary music ends and another trivial music plays, causing severe embarrassment for Nueno. And while he was advancing into the class, his staff breaks, which greatly annoys him. Despite this embarrassing start, Nueno begins to introduce himself and that he will be their new teacher. Then Miki raises her hand and wants to ask Nueno a question, and after he agrees to her request, Miki tells him that she wants to see his exorcism power because she heard that he has exorcism power. With great anticipation, Nueno looks at the principal's picture and is hesitant, but he tells himself that he must meet his students' expectations of him in order to gain their love. Therefore, he shows them strange things and puts some talismans on the principal's picture and throws salt on it. Miki asks Kyoko if this is the power he possesses, but Kyoko is no longer sure of this anymore. At this time, teacher Ritsuko appears and approaches Nueno and asks him what is happening. Nueno feels embarrassed, but he approaches her and sees that she has many ghosts chasing her and that she might have talent as a Canon Sutra medium, and shows her the spell book, which leads to Ritsuko's extreme anger, and she hits him, causing the book to fall to the ground, and she scolds him because she hates supernatural things and hurries away from him. But Nueno desperately tries to make her wait but doesn't succeed in this. At this critical moment, Hiroshi picks up the book from the ground, but his eyes glow, and he remembers a painful incident for him and his father also being harmed by an evil sorcerer. Angrily, he shouts at Nueno and asks him to stop this, and asks him not to mock them thinking they are children, and throws the book violently to the ground. Kyoko desperately tries to explain to Hiroshi that Nueno is a real exorcist, but Nueno approaches Hiroshi because he can't believe what happened, and tells him that whether he believes him or not, they are in the same class. He is about to put his hand on his head to reassure him, but Hiroshi imagines him as evil and immediately removes his hand and directs a blow at him, but it doesn't affect Nueno at all. Fortunately, Kyoko intervenes at the right time and takes Hiroshi to the class, leaving the rest of the students in a state of surprise and astonishment at Hiroshi's different behaviors. Later in the principal's office, the principal asks Nueno about his first day, but Nueno sees that they are good students. But the principal feels that Nueno is worried about something, so Nueno tells him that spirits and yokai don't always cause harm and that he can't go around and exercise everything recklessly, but he will think about what to do after building great trust with his students. The principal is convinced that Nueno is right, and that he will leave the matter to him, and also asks him to protect the students of this school, which Nueno confirms to him. In the yard, Hiroshi was playing a match with his friends, and feels angry because of his friend's mockery of him, and directs a violent blow to one of his friends, which leads to him being separated from his friend. Afterwards, Hiroshi feels severe remorse for his action. At Demori Hospital, Hiroshi was on a touching visit to his sick father, and offers him an apology, but his father tenderly tells him not to worry, and that he has become fine. And while Dr. Tamamo tells them that he will leave, and asks him to take care of himself, Hiroshi's father feels that he is not well, and hugs him tightly to reassure him, and tells him that everything will be alright. On the way home, Kyoko and Miki were walking together when Kyoko sees Hiroshi and calls out to him, but Miki tells her to stop because he made a big problem today in the match, and that he was changed from being a starting player. Despite that, Kyoko approaches him and calls out to him again, and suddenly sees something strange and scary in Hiroshi's body before it disappears, which leads to Kyoko's severe shock from this terrifying scene. The next day at school, Kyoko rushes with extreme concern to the teacher's room to talk to Nueno about Hiroshi, and that he is acting with frightening strangeness, and that she is very worried about this. She tells him that he has no energy, that he suddenly gets angry, and that he wasn't like this before, and usually acts dull but is a person with a good heart. In an attempt to calm her down, Nueno tells her not to worry, and that he will talk to him. In the bathroom, we find Hiroshi talking to himself anxiously as he tries to control his anger, repeating that he doesn't want to get angry today. But suddenly Nueno appears from behind him and gently asks Hiroshi if he's feeling any sudden anger episodes, showing him his crystal and assuring him that he's listening to whatever he wants to say. But this makes Hiroshi even angrier because of the supernatural things, shouting that he's tired of all this, and he violently throws the crystal at Nueno, causing Nueno to feel severe pain. Hiroshi harshly tells him not to come near him again and leaves the place angrily. In the classroom, Nueno asks the students if they received their tablets and tells them he'll teach them how to use them. But Hiroshi wasn't paying attention to him, and when Nueno approaches him wanting to know if he has any questions about his tablet, Hiroshi bares his fangs fiercely, causing Nueno to back away from him cautiously. After that, Hiroshi grabs his device and starts examining it, but something strange and scary appears in his eyes, making him drop the device immediately. This strange behavior draws attention to him, and Miki starts mocking him, which makes him even angrier. Kyoko tries to calm him down and puts her hand on him to help, but Hiroshi pushes her forcefully, causing Kyoko to hit the wall and get a bleeding head injury. Nueno rushes to check on her while Hiroshi tells himself regretfully that he did it again. At the hospital, Nueno and Hiroshi were waiting for news to check on Kyoko. Nueno tries to talk to Hiroshi, but Kyoko comes out and tells them she's fine. Hiroshi sincerely apologizes to her, but Kyoko sadly asks him how he could do that to a gentle lady like her. Hiroshi apologizes to her again shyly. After Nueno checks on Kyoko's wound and confirms she's okay, he surprises everyone when he apologizes to Hiroshi, which leads to Hiroshi being surprised by this unexpected behavior. Nueno asks Kyoko if he can have some alone time with Hiroshi to talk to him. They head outside the hospital while Dr. Tamamo watches them from the hospital window with concern. Nueno and Hiroshi head to the nearby park. There, Nueno sees a child crying while his mother holds him in despair, so he approaches them and asks her to let him examine the child. When he holds the child's hand, he casts a spell on him, which causes darkness to fall over the place, and he succeeds in extracting an anger worm from the child's hand. The child immediately stops crying while both Kyoko, who was watching them, and Hiroshi are amazed by this incredible scene. Nueno approaches Hiroshi and shows him the worm, so Hiroshi asks about it with curiosity mixed with fear. Nueno tells him it's an anger tantrum worm and it doesn't do this on purpose, but if it takes control of him, he'll become quick to anger for no reason. Usually it attaches to children and doesn't cause any harm, but there are rare cases where it transforms into monsters or yokai and is called the 99-legged bug. Nueno expects this is the yokai that's taking control of Hiroshi now. Strange symptoms appear on Hiroshi, and Nueno asks him to let him examine him and drive this thing out of his body. But Hiroshi remembers what happened to him in the past when a spell was stuck on his face, so he grabs Nueno's hand trying to stop him. But this causes the worm to transfer to Hiroshi's hand, surprising Nueno. But things get worse when Hiroshi transforms into a monster because he was bothered by all these supernatural things, and he delivers a powerful blow to Nueno, sending him flying and hitting a tree, causing him to bleed. Kyoko is shocked by this terrifying scene and calls out to Hiroshi, but he runs away quickly. While fleeing, he remembers what happened to him in the past when he went to a spiritualist through his father trying to save him, and also when he was at home with his father, and his father tried to stop him from breaking things until his father got injured. Hiroshi felt very sad for his father, but his father made him feel reassured and hugged him and told him he was good as long as Hiroshi was okay. When Hiroshi returns to the present, he feels extreme anger until he shows his full power. Kyoko comes to check on him and is surprised when she sees Hiroshi's destructive power. Hiroshi transforms completely and becomes very angry and flies high, violently telling Kyoko to leave him alone because she's bothering him, and he throws his power at her. Kyoko immediately runs away but doesn't succeed in getting far, and Hiroshi manages to catch her and knock her to the ground. He moves to her with his full power and throws his power at her again and grabs her well, and succeeds in restraining her, telling her in a scary voice that they must disappear from this world. But at the right time, Nuino appears despite his injuries and throws a bunch of paper spells at Hiroshi, and succeeds in nullifying his power and freeing Kyoko from restraint and controlling him. Nuino approaches Hiroshi, who feels extremely sad because of what he did, shouting that he doesn't want to hurt anyone and asking Nuino what happened to him. But Nuino continues casting the spell until he gets close to him and hugs him and makes him feel reassured that he'll be okay. When he holds his hand, Hiroshi immediately remembers his father and desperately asks Nuino to help him immediately. Nuino tells him not to worry and that he'll save him now, and he uses his power that's in his left hand and shows his true power and asks Hiroshi to trust him. He delivers a powerful blow to Hiroshi, which leads to expelling the angry worm from Hiroshi's body. Hiroshi sees Nuino in the form of a demon, which amazes him at this magnificent sight. Nuino approaches the angry worm and didn't expect it to be this huge. Nuino asks the worm to leave this place immediately and stop hurting his students, but the worm attacks Nuino, but it changes its course and heads toward Hiroshi, so Nuino pushes Hiroshi to get him out of the worm's way so it won't devour him. But Nuino gets devoured instead of Hiroshi, and from inside the worm, Nuino uses his power and succeeds in causing wounds to it, leading to its complete destruction in an amazing explosion. Kyoko approaches Hiroshi, and they're both amazed by what happened when Nuino asks them as he rises from the rubble, "Are you two okay?" Kyoko worriedly asks Nuino if he's okay. Hiroshi sincerely apologizes to Nuino, but Nuino sees it as natural to help his students with their problems, especially him because he's one of his dear students. Hiroshi feels scared of Nuino's hand when he sees it, but Nuino gently tells him not to worry about his hands and that they're not dangerous. Then Kyoko confirms to him that Nuino is really a ghost hunter as she told them before. Hiroshi apologizes again to Nuino, which leads to Nuino's overwhelming happiness. Suddenly, Dr. Tomato rushes over to them and lands a powerful, unexpected blow on Nuino, knocking him away. He grabs Hiroshi and starts choking him tightly, telling him in an evil voice that he has been waiting for him for a long time. Kyoko, shocked, asks Dr. Tomato what he's doing. The doctor thinks she's Hiroshi's friend and threatens her, saying he doesn't want anyone except Hiroshi today. When she tries to approach and stop him, he throws her in the same direction as Nuino. Nuino quickly catches her so she doesn't hit the ground and get hurt. Once she's safely on the ground, Kyoko tells Nuino with worry that Hiroshi is in real trouble. Nuino immediately realizes this person has a sinister, otherworldly aura and isn't a normal human. Tomato then casts a powerful spell with his staff. When Nuino and Kyoko come looking for them, neither of them are there. Kyoko panics, wondering where they went, but Nuino uses his crystal to search for them and senses a strong otherworldly aura, which causes sharp pain in his hand. He tells Kyoko not to worry and explains that a demon lives in his hand since he expelled a student and sealed the demon inside. The hand is powerful because it's a demon's weapon. Demons fight spirits instinctively, even other demons and yokai. He puts on a glove to hide it and tells her that what matters most right now is catching up to Hiroshi. He asks her to go home alone, but Kyoko insists on coming along to help. Nuino firmly refuses because the aura he sensed is too strong, and it's dangerous for her to be with him, finally convincing Kyoko. Elsewhere, Tomato is carrying Hiroshi, telling him that his whole plan could have failed because of an unexpected intruder. He throws Hiroshi down from above, then jumps after him and saves him before he hits the ground and dies, scaring people in the street with the terrifying scene. He notices Hiroshi's anger has faded, and it's clear to him that Hiroshi has been completely cleansed of the worm. Looking up, he sees his symbol, then starts moving. At this point, Nuino arrives, and Tomato notices he never gives up. Nuino casts a soul-binding spell at Tomato, but Tomato manages to block it skillfully. Tomato uses his own spell, creating several copies of himself around the place. Tomato then throws a small stone that turns into a fierce wolf that attacks Nuino, but Nuino hits it hard to fend it off. Tomato moves and jumps off the bridge. Looking around, Nuino sees Hiroshi lying on the ground and a giant tiger charging at him. Nuino jumps to save Hiroshi, but suddenly the tiger turns into a biker, and Hiroshi is actually a small kitten. It's It's all in Noino's imagination, which makes Hiroshi astonished. Noino starts hallucinating all sorts of things and realizes a powerful genjutsu illusion spell has been cast on him. Meanwhile, Tamato and Hiroshi are in a dark, creepy hallway. Tamato puts a spell on Hiroshi so he can't move or scream so that he can go forward with his perfect evil plan, then moves on. Noino keeps searching for the real Tamato and finally points his crystal at a building, which causes all Tamato's lookalikes to disappear. But Noino thinks he lost their trail, and when he sees Tamato's symbol in the crystal, he puts it in his bag and pulls out his phone to open the Maps app, but it doesn't work, which really annoys him. Just then, Kyoko arrives and takes the phone to help get the app working, which surprises him because he'd told her to stay away since it was dangerous. But she came anyway. She turns on the app, hands him the phone, and tells him she's useful to him now, asking if he has found Hiroshi's location. He hasn't found it yet, but he has a clue: the Northern 7 Stars. He tells her the names of the 7 stars that shine in the sky and starts connecting things together using his crystal. He explains that Tamato left this trail and planned to arrange the 7 stars around the city. It's clear he's preparing something for a specific ritual, with each character holding an otherworldly aura. Kyoko thinks that means Hiroshi is going to be the victim and they have to hurry to save him, but Noino says they have more time because spiritual rituals follow a strict order. He explains that if he follows the order of the 7 stars, it will lead to the final location, called the Hajan site. Kyoko already knows about it and tells him it's an amusement park that's still under construction. She asks if he wants her to show him the way, and he replies that he does. At the same time, Tamato is at his final point, thinking his perfect plan is about to end, but then sees Noino coming and gets annoyed, deciding he'll deal with Noino now since there's not much time left. Noino stops and starts searching. He sees Hiroshi hanging from a big clock, just about to be sliced by the clock's hands, so he hurries to save him. When Noino grabs Hiroshi's leg, time passes and Hiroshi's head is cut off by the clock hands, shocking Noino completely. But then he realizes it's just another illusion, just like before, and Tamato is toying with his mind, taking advantage of Noino's worry for Hiroshi. Tamato then throws his spear at Nuino and manages to hit him accurately, knocking Nuino forcefully to the ground. Tamato approaches him confidently and tells him with contempt that he didn't have to make any effort to finish him. Despite his injury, Nuino tries to grab Tamato to prevent him from leaving, but Tamato violently pushes him away. He looks at the sky and thinks that this night is suitable for performing human embodiment. He climbs to a high point and tells Hiroshi in an evil voice that he needs his skull to transform into a human so he can live among them, and that he first saw him 3 months ago and was happy about it because he could finally start his rituals. He reveals that he went to the hospital because he thought it would be the easiest way to find a skull, so he became a doctor, but he couldn't easily find anything good there. He remembers his past when Hiroshi bumped into him one day while rushing, and he saw that he was the right person, and from then on, he began to watch him carefully until he was sure his skull would fit him perfectly. He explains to him that human embodiment requires a human skull, but if any anger remains in the skull, it will act as noise and disrupt the ritual. So he put his otherworldly aura in an anger bug and cast it on him to erase all his anger, and began monitoring its progress and observing its symptoms. Returning to the present, he tells him that everything went better than expected because he now has a new skull in the palm of his hand, which makes Hiroshi angry at this terrifying revelation, and he tells himself that all of this was his fault. Tamato explains that he searched a lot among humans but couldn't find anyone suitable as they were drowning in their selfishness, yet he's not much better than them. In human embodiment, he wants a skull that fits him well, or else he won't be able to become a perfect yokai. He then strikes himself and extracts his skull from his head, then transforms into a huge and terrifying wolf, which greatly frightens Hiroshi. Tamato throws his skull away and casts his spell through his spear. He pronounces the names of the 7 stars until stars begin to shine everywhere in the city, which amazes some students who witness this supernatural sight. Equipment in the park starts working on its own while Kyoko was looking for Nuino in the area. Tamato tells Hiroshi that when he removes his skull, the human embodiment process will be complete, but Nuino appears and tells him to stop. Hiroshi runs toward Nuino, so Tamato sees that humans are never agile, and throws one of his magic stones that makes them imagine a train coming toward them. Hiroshi feels afraid and slows down, but Nuino asks him to hurry and not slow down. Hiroshi approaches Nuino and hugs him, but Nuino takes the stone in his back and feels severe pain. Hiroshi starts crying to Nuino because he felt scared, but Nuino tells him not to worry, and that he will protect him because he is his dear student. Tamato tells them that he will get rid of him to complete the human embodiment ritual. Nuino asks Hiroshi to step away, then approaches Tomato and casts his spell, causing the demon spirit within him to appear. Tomato is surprised by Nuino's power and wonders about this terrifying force. Tomato threatens him and says he won't treat him kindly now, and throws 3 stones which create copies of the wolf he has become, and they attack Nuino. Nuino also attacks them, but gets hit by one of the wolves, which pushes him away, and he almost falls but holds on well. The wolf copies attack him, and he succeeds in defeating them and starts looking for the original Tomato until a train appears, heading towards him again, and he thinks it's also an illusion. But Tomato appears to him and stabs him with the spear, carries him through the spear, runs with him quickly, and throws him inside a large building. Hiroshi thinks that at this rate, Nuino will be finished. Inside the building, Nuino and Tomato face each other, but Tomato uses the copying power again and attacks Nuino with it. Nuino succeeds in defeating them but fails to defeat the original Tomato. Tomato thinks it's over for them, but Nuino gets angry and tells him that he is a class teacher and won't allow him to lay his hands on his students, and pushes him back forcefully. Meanwhile, Hiroshi tries to open the door of one of the large carriers but can't, until Kyoko comes to him and asks him to move away, and she breaks the glass of the large carrier. Tomato succeeds in throwing Nuino from the top of the building and thinks that Nuino is interesting but has made Hiroshi wait. He uses the cloning stones again and they attack him, but Nuino prepares well for them and meets them with a powerful strike that successfully hits the original Tomato. Tomato is surprised by this and asks Nuino about his condition. Nuino tells him his name so he would remember, and that he is their class teacher. In this crucial moment, Hiroshi and Kyoko come and use the large carrier, successfully attracting Tamato's spear to them magnetically, which causes Tamato to disappear. But before disappearing, he tells them they will meet again. Nuino feels extremely exhausted, and his students approach him to check on him. He tells them that he saved them because of the opportunity they created for him with their intelligence and courage. The lights of the 7 stars disappear and rain down on the city, some beautiful small lights, which also amazes the students by this magical scene. Later, with Nuino and his students, Hiroshi didn't believe that spirits or things like yokai existed in the first place. Kyoko tells Hiroshi that Nuino is real, as she told him before, but Nuino sees that it's hard to believe in things we haven't seen yet, but they have lived alongside humans for a long time and are like mirrors that reflect human hearts, and they can't be classified as good or evil. The important thing is not defeating them, but how to establish a relationship with them. Kyoko thinks Hiroshi didn't understand this, but he understood this deep wisdom to some extent. The next day, Nuino and Hiroshi go to apologize to Hiroshi's ball coach, and he starts playing again with his team happily. In the hospital, Hiroshi's father leaves safely, and Nuino and Kyoko are waiting for him with joy. Finally, at school, Nuino watches students flee in fear when they see him, so he approaches the principal's picture sadly and asks Hiroshi not to scare students more than this. We moved to the schoolyard, where some students were playing, and the cleaner was watching them all. The cleaner was watching the students, and when they looked at him, they felt a strong wind heading towards them, which made them scared and they ran away. After that, we moved to Nuino, who was going to his class, and he saw his admired teacher, Ritsuko. She was joking with Kyoko and Miki. Nuino quickly approached her and told her there was something on her back. When she asked him what it was, he told her it was a spirit, which scared Ritsuko, and she asked him not to joke with her because she was afraid of such things. Then he apologized to her and told her he would bring it back, but she was shocked because he touched her and screamed, which led to other students gathering. Ritsuko went to her room, which made Nuino very sad. Then the students approached Nuino, and Hiroshi told him that he shouldn't talk to her about scary things. Then Miki approached Nuino and told him there was a rumor about an honor student at midnight who does strange things like replacing flowers, cleaning the rabbit cage, and wiping blackboards, and that he cleans all night in the school in the dark and no one knows who this person is. She asked him if he thought this was scary or not. Makoto thought it might be a ghost, but Katsuya didn't believe in ghosts and thought they weren't real. Kyoko wondered if it was a ghost. They should confirm it. And Hiroshi asked for Nuino's opinion too, but Nuino said that he shouldn't believe such a rumor and asked Hiroshi not to take things seriously and asked them to return to their class and left. Then night fell and the students moved to the school to search for the cleaning man. Makoto was very scared, but Hiroshi was very excited. Miki wondered if there was really a ghost. She also asked if they could befriend it. Kyoko asked them to be silent because she heard a strange sound and told them there was a sound from the classroom. When they opened the classroom door, they saw the cleaner, and Hiroshi confirmed he was real. Then Nuino came and grabbed Hiroshi, which scared Hiroshi, and Hiroshi asked Nuino not to scare him. Nuino wondered why they were there at this time, but Hiroshi explained to him that they were not doing anything bad and that they they came to see the cleaning student at midnight. Then Nuino asked them to stay outside and went to the cleaning student and said that he knew this and asked his students to keep quiet. Then the students approached him one by one, which surprised Hiroshi. The next day, they turned on the light and Nuino began to explain his subjects. While the students were listening to him, the honor student asked Miki about something she didn't know, which scared her greatly and made her hesitate. Nuino immediately intervened and asked him if he wanted anything, and told him that he would help him with anything he wanted. The student told him that he was very kind, and that he loved him very much, and Miki was even more surprised when she saw that he hadn't written anything in his book and had only doodled, but Nuino told him that he would teach him the alphabet, which scared the rest of the students. Then it got later and very dark, and Nuino asked them to start the party. Hiroshi wondered, "The party is the expulsion, isn't it?" And Kyoko was also excited to do it. Then Nuino turned off the light and showed a wooden box and told them it was made of flowers and revealed what was inside, which was a Japanese doll. He told them that these spirits tend to find homes in human-shaped objects, even this silent doll. But the cleaning student asked Nuino, "Do you think this doll has a soul?" But Hiroshi told him he was sure of it, and Kyoko also told him that the doll has feelings. Nuino saw that spirits live inside objects that have been used for a long time, especially this doll. Then Nuino cast his special spell on the doll and showed them the doll's spirit, which amazed his students. Then he told them that when there are things like doll spirits, they turn into haunted objects called Tsukomogami, and over time and years, they turn into a person and begin to have thoughts and feelings, which amazed the cleaning student, and everyone was surprised by this student's behavior. Hiroshi told him that it wasn't the first time they had seen a doll spirit, and Miki told him she had met him before and asked him if he remembered, and Kyoko thought there was another doll spirit in this room, and the cleaning student wondered, "Where is it?" And he thought that this was the only spirit he had for his doll statue. Then Nuino approached him and told him that this second spirit had been kept for a long time and had been used for a long time until it now had a soul. But not only that, it also forgot that it was a doll and thought it was a student here, which surprised the cleaning student and scared the rest of the students. And the cleaning student said, "Am I this doll?" And his true self appeared, and Kyoko thought the student was shocked. Then the cleaning student asked Nuino what he meant, and Nuino told him that he truly was. Then he remembered when he first said it, and it was in a wrapper that Ritsuko had opened, and she was very scared at the time. He told him that he was in a deep sleep in the back of the science lab, and the wrapper was taken out by the cleaners, but Nuino was also worried at the time because of his exit, and that he expected when he was watching the children, his suppressed emotions began to flow, and when he started walking in the corridors at night and cleaning the school imitating the children, he was seen by people and became known as the famous student at midnight. And when he met him, he did not want to rashly expel a good spirit until the next day, and he talked to the students and told them to treat her normally as if she were a human, but he wanted to make her realize that she was a doll spirit without scaring her. Kyoko suggested that they could treat her as a real honor student and put her in a classroom, and Nuino would explain a lesson about doll spirits and gently help her realize who she is, and they would deceive her, and the rest of the students were excited about this idea, except Makoto, who was scared, but Hiroshi expected that since Nuino was there, everything would be fine. But Nuino began to think, but Miki begged him until he agreed to this idea, which made them happy. Then he returned to his present. He told him that he understood now, and that a soul had escaped from this human form. But the student denied this and told them he was a human, not a human form. However, Nuino didn't believe him, and approached him to stop his heart, so he would return to his form. But the student pushed Noino's hand away, and also ran off. He then went to a mirror and saw himself in it. He felt a great shock at his appearance and realized that he was not human, but merely a doll in human shape with a soul. Then he fell to the ground. Noino and the students were watching him and felt sadness for him. Noino saw that this made things more difficult. Then Hiroshi bravely stepped forward and told him not to be depressed, and asked him to come play with him, and that they would be friends for a day. He asked his friends about this, and they all agreed. The student thanked them and asked them what game they would play. Hiroshi told him it would be the game of Crown, and that he would be the winner. The student remembered when he used to watch the students playing it in the yard. He then told them that they were now friends and smashed the mirror. But Noino immediately came forward and asked him to calm down, and that they needed to clean this up. He asked them to leave because it was dangerous for them. When the students left the bathroom, Noino told him that if he continued to break the furniture, he would be fully responsible. He went into the cleaning supply room to get a cleaning tool, but when he entered, he couldn't get out because the door was locked from the outside. The student went out to Hiroshi and his friends, and Hiroshi thought Noino was late because he was cleaning the place. Then the doll student came out to them and told them that since they were friends, they should be alike, and that he would remove their skin to make them look like him. Then he showed a piece of the glass he had broken and revealed his other half. He began a countdown to transform them like him, which made them extremely scared, until the doll finished counting, and the students immediately ran away from him. The doll was chasing them because he wanted them all to be alike, but Hiroshi told him that at this rate, they would be killed, so they should hide. Then the doll jumped high and delivered a blow, but it didn't hit anyone. Instead, it cut the bulletin board that advocated for cleanliness into 2 parts. The students ran away again, using the glass shards embedded in the wall. Then the students split into two groups. The first group was hiding behind the trees, very scared, until the doll came to them and called out to them, asking them to come out so they could be alike. He was about to find them when he heard a door close, and his attention was diverted. Then we moved to the other team, who thought they were safe until he came to them from outside and started knocking on the door. But Hiroshi reassured Kyoko that he had locked the door well. But they didn't expect the doll to come to them from the window, which surprised them. After that, the doll broke the glass and then entered to them and told them that cleaning was fun, but playing with them was more fun. But they hid from him so he wouldn't see them. Then he started searching for them in the place. But he succeeded in finding them and told them that now they would be similar friends. He was about to stab them, but Noino intervened at the right time and saved them, which made Hiroshi and Kyoko happy. Noino apologized to them for being late. He told the doll that he was so overwhelmed that he went into a frenzy. He asked him, "Didn't you have enough fun?" He then turned the doll back into a spirit and asked it to return to its ship. Then they moved to the classroom, and the spirit told Noino that he wanted to be human, but Noino refused because he couldn't. Then Noino left the spirit and cast his spell, and his hands turned into a devil's hand, which amazed the others because it was their first time seeing it. Hiroshi and Kyoko were excited because they had seen it before. Then Noino prepared to seal the human form and delivered a blow to it until he succeeded in expelling the spirit. He told them that since they were presenting this holy book that seals the spirit, it would be completed in one night, but Miki felt bad, and Kyoko wanted the spirit to become human. But Noino saw that this was what had to be done, which was that the doll should not become human. But Miki felt hungry and asked Noino to order them dinner. They went out of the classroom to get food, and the doll was left alone, but the spirit reappeared. The next day, Noino was with the principal, and the principal asked him for compensation for the damage, and told him that he could not find the human form anywhere. But Noino was confident that he had left it there yesterday, but the principal didn't believe him and told him that his bulletin board, bathroom mirror, and storage window had been destroyed. He told him that he would send him a bill for all of this, but Noino went to the principal and told him that the human form was the one who did this, but the principal didn't believe him and asked him to pay him next month, which made Noino cry a lot. Then Noino moved with his students and was very sad. Miki thought Noino would buy them ramen, but Noino would lose all his money in the hell of compensation. But Hiroshi told him that he had made a promise to them and that this day was the perfect opportunity because he didn't have soccer practice. Then Katsuya asked about the whereabouts of the human form. Kyoko thought it had moved again, and Hiroshi asked, "Is it possible for the form to move without a soul?" Then the doll appeared to them and told them that he had become human after all. Noino was about to approach him, but he stopped him and told him that he had come to greet them. Then he revealed himself and told him that he hadn't put on the skin yet, which made them feel scared. After that, the doll ran away, and Noino asked him to wait until a car passed between them, and the doll disappeared after that, which surprised everyone. Noino thought that since the doll had become human, half of Yuka would be affected by the spiritual magnetic field and might attend another school. We headed to school, and the teacher, Ritsuko, was walking between the students in the hall between the rows. The students were happy to see her, and Ritsuko greeted them all. Then, from afar, Noino ran up to her to greet her, but she told him he shouldn't be running in the hallway. He ignored her and asked if she had any plans today. She hesitated to answer, and when she asked why, Noino wanted to invite her to dinner. This made Ritsuko happy for a moment, but her joy didn't last when Noino told her he was taking her to a new restaurant overlooking a cemetery. He said she'd get great service from a first-class zombie and enjoy drinks that were vampire-themed cocktails decorated with eyes, along with food made of skulls. There would also be a beautiful show of dancing spirits. This scared Ritsuko a lot. She hit him and walked away, which made Noino cry. Then we switched to Noino's class. He asked the students what they thought about what had happened. Some thought any woman would be annoyed by this, others were surprised she even agreed in the first place, and some saw the psychological power as having a bad effect on this. But Hiroshi thought Noino's power was great, which made Noino happy, and Hiroshi hugged him for praising him. Miki wanted to have psychological powers like Noino too, but Noino believed psychological power wasn't always good. Miki insisted it was good with Noino, and that he was different from everyone else. Since she had a charming appearance, she imagined becoming famous once she had psychological power. She pictured herself as a great artist, receiving an autobiographical film award, and traveling the world doing spirit expulsions. Then she snapped out of her daydream. Noino told them it was time to study. After that, Miki dived into studying, learning more about psychological powers. Even during class, she was reading books about psychological power, ignoring her regular studies. Noino caught her, confiscated the book, but she had another one. She kept filling her mind only with reading and listening to talks about psychological power. Later, she went home and saw a TV ad about psychological power. The The ad told people not to relive their memories, but to try to remember everything they did during the day backward to possibly gain psychological power. Miki was surprised listening to this and thought it was scary, but decided to try it. She went to bed and started recalling what she had done during the day, blow-drying her hair, showering, having dinner, then studying. Then she remembered something important. She hadn't studied for tomorrow's math test, but she planned to focus on replaying her memories tonight and fell asleep. A lightning strike hit her while she was asleep, but she didn't feel it. At school, Miki felt very sleepy in her class while Noino was explaining. He asked Miki to read aloud to wake up a bit. She started reading but quickly fell asleep, which made Noino angry, and the other students laughed at her. Then Noino told Miki to go rest in the nurse's office until the first period ended, so she left. But Noino surprised her by saying she'd have the math test during the second period. This made her sad. He told her to clear her mind until then. Miki went to the nurse's office but found it empty. She took off her shoes and laid down, wishing she knew the test questions so she could pass. She fell asleep again, and lightning struck her body once more. Miki woke up, transformed into Yuka, with long hair, flying around the school. She went to the teacher's room and headed toward Noino's desk, saw the math test answers, and began copying them. Then Ritsuko arrived. Miki approached her and turned around, telling her she smelled nice. This scared Ritsuko a lot. She thought she was dreaming. Miki told her not to scream so she wouldn't wake up scared. Noino and the students heard Ritsuko scream and went running to her, but Miki had disappeared. Ritsuko was lying on the floor. When Noino and the students reached her, he checked on her. Ritsuko said she had seen something and asked Noino what he thought it was. Kyoko and Hiroshi guessed she saw a ghost or yokai. Ritsuko confirmed that, which made Noino angry and asked how that could be. He asked if anything happened to her, and she started describing it, very scared. Hiroshi and Kyoko guessed at the same time it was a yokai called Rokurokubi and were shocked. Back in their classroom, the test papers were handed out. Katsuya talked to Makoto about the yokai that appeared and told her she would be the first to be devoured, which scared Makoto. Noino told them to stop talking and focus on the test. Miki was still very sleepy even though she took a nap in the nurse's office. She looked at the test paper and realized the questions were the same as those she saw in her dream. Then she discovered she now possessed psychological power and shouted happily, which surprised everyone. She got embarrassed by all the students staring at her, apologized, and sat down. Noino looked at her very surprised. Miki started solving the test and finished 20 minutes before time was up, which shocked Noino. She went up to hand in her paper. Noino thought she'd given up, but when he looked at her answers, he was shocked to see she got everything right. The students were surprised too. Miki went home and kept watching videos about psychological powers. She told herself she couldn't believe she got such amazing power and thought about quitting school since she would become a world-famous woman. She imagined herself in her own show and felt very happy. She thought she needed to train her clairvoyance skills next. She got an idea to fly over to her friends' houses. She went to Kyoko, who was happily showering and singing. Miki joined her singing from outside the window, flying in the air. This surprised Kyoko, but Miki left immediately and went to Hiroshi, who was also in the bathroom angry because the toilet paper was finished. She threw some paper at him, surprising him too. Then she flew to Katsuya and Makoto, who felt very scared to see her. Miki then flew alone in the air again. The next day, we go to school, and Miki was heading to her class. She was happy about what happened yesterday, and expected her friends to be surprised when they saw her because of what happened yesterday. Her friends were waiting for her, looking at her in amazement, and Neno was with them. Miki asked what was wrong with everyone. Katsuya thought she had tricked them and didn't believe she was a Rokurokubi yokai, but Miki didn't understand anything and asked what he was talking about. Kyoko didn't know that Miki was a yokai, and Makoto asked her how she could deceive them that she was human all this time. But Miki told them that what happened yesterday was a psychic power called clairvoyance. She approached them, but the students felt scared and moved away, which shocked Miki. Neno asked the students to calm down and said he would protect them. Miki was surprised that Neno also believed the students, but Neno asked to speak with her privately because Hiroshi told him everything. Miki hesitated to go with him and asked why he wanted this. She felt very afraid and remembered Neno driving away ghosts using his demonic hands. She ran away in fear, and Neno asked the students to stay in the classroom and chased after Miki, but some students followed them too. Miki was running while crying, and Ritsuko appeared in front of her in the corridor. She screamed in fear and remembered that she was the yokai who had appeared to her. Neno tried to reassure her to calm down, but she hit him and continued to run away. Nino continued to follow her, and when he got close, she threw things at him, then sprayed him with a fire extinguisher until he couldn't see her anymore, and she disappeared from in front of him. Miki went to the gymnasium and began to ask herself why they thought she was a yokai. Then she lost consciousness, and lightning appeared on her again. When Miki woke up, she was shocked by what happened to her, and wondered why her head was like that. Then Neno came to her and told her she was hiding here. He prepared his talisman and approached Mickey, which made Mickey afraid. She threw things at him again and ran away, appearing in front of her friends, which surprised them. She flew high, then Mickey tried to explain to them that she wasn't a ghost, but the situation got worse, and her neck continued to extend among the students, which made Neno angry. Mickey was running after them to explain everything, and asked them to listen to her, but Neno blocked Mickey's path and managed to stop her. He used his power while holding her and was about to hit her, but Mickey knocked him to the ground and escaped from him. Then she looked at her friends with sadness, crying and laughing at the same time, and couldn't believe she had become a yokai. She decided not to give up without a fight, and attacked Neno, succeeding in restraining him and attacking him to deliver a blow, but she collided with his strong hands, which caused her pain. Then she retreated into the gymnasium again. Neno ran to the same room, but Mickey asked him not to kill her. Neno asked her not to move, but Mickey told him she wouldn't look at the test answers again and wouldn't spy on what everyone was doing again. She begged him, but Neno insisted on hitting her. Kyoko intervened and asked him to stop and not kill her. She stood beside Mickey and told her that she was still Mickey even if she was a yokai and that she was still her friend. Then Hiroshi also came forward and defended Mickey, making excuses for her and telling him to think of her long neck as part of her personality. Who cares if there's a Rokurokubi in their class? Then Katsuya and Makoto came forward and also defended Mickey, saying she was their friend forever and that they would get used to her, which made Mickey happy that her friends supported her despite her appearance. She cried a lot about this. The rest of the students also asked him to leave her alone, not just her close friends. Then Neno approached her and told them not to worry, that it wouldn't take a second, and hit her, which revealed her true head, surprising Mickey. She asked him about her current head. Neno told her that what extended was not her physical body but her spiritual body. He told her that the Rokurokubi was seen as a yokai that could extend its neck, but in reality, it's a phenomenon where only the head and neck of the spiritual body extend and move while you are asleep. Mickey asked Neno, "So I'm not a yokai?" Then he told her she wasn't, and he told her and the rest of the students that he was very proud of them, which made the students happy. Then Mimi was very happy and started talking to her friends, asking them who they were calling a yokai. She's not a Rokurokubi. She's just unconscious in her sleep. Then she went to the rest of the students and warned them that she would sue them because she felt insulted by them and asked for compensation. Nino approached her body and began thinking about what to do, but the effect on her was very strong. On the other side, Miki was having fun with her friends by flying high, but Neno got angry because if she continued doing this, she wouldn't return to normal again, which made them stop. Then Neno used his power and succeeded in returning her to normal, and she felt happy when she returned to normal and thanked Neno a lot, but he felt annoyed because he would pay for the things that were broken. The next day, life returned to normal, and Neno was teaching the students in the class as usual. They had another math test, and Mickey joked with one of her friends to scare him. He felt very scared, but Neno got very angry and told her they were in the middle of the exam, which made her friends laugh at her and Neno get angry at Mickey. Katsuya went with his little sister to a food cart to buy some food. His little sister wanted to buy one of the sandwiches, but Katsuya was surprised by the price because it was very expensive, and he didn't have enough money to buy it. He had expected the sandwich wouldn't cost more than 1,000 rin. He then told her he would go and be right back. He went to a place to look for anyone he knew to borrow some money from. He moved to a place full of crows, and when he went there, all the crows flew into the air. There was a small shrine in front of him. Then, a 500 rin coin rolled toward him from this shrine, which was exactly what he needed to buy the food for his sister. He then gave thanks to the shrine and went back to his sister to buy her the food. We cut to inside the shrine, where there was a samurai sword that had been unsheathed from its scabbard. Then we cut to the school. Katsuya told his classmates what happened to him, which surprised everyone because Katsuya bought the sandwich that was on TV and was also very expensive. Katsuya's reason was that his sister, Manami, wanted to try it. Kyoko saw that Katsuya loves his sister very much and thought that if Hiroshi were in the same situation, he would have eaten everything himself. She said that if she had to choose an older brother, she would choose Katsuya, which made Katsuya happy. Then all the students noticed the sound of Noono, who was still bothering Ms. Ritsuko. Hiroshi asked what happened outside. Then Nono entered, looking sad. Hiroshi approached him and asked what was wrong and if he had bothered Ritsuko again. But Noono got angry and denied doing that, telling them he just took a picture of her, which puzzled the students. Hiroshi asked Noono to see the picture. He then showed them the picture, which scared them terribly. Kyoko confirmed that she should have run away. Noono asked why she should run. Then Miki snatched the phone from Noono because she wanted to see the rest of the pictures. She took several pictures of them as well, hoping ghosts would appear with them, just like in Ritsuko's picture. But after they finished, they started looking for ghosts in their own pictures but found nothing. However, Katsuya saw his picture without his head, which scared him greatly. He looked behind him and felt terrified. After that, the students started cleaning their classroom. Katsuya asked Noono about Lord Hatamomba from the shrine in the next town. But Noino explained to him that it's not a lord, and that this shrine is actually a seal for a sword that turned into an evil spirit, which astonished Katsuya. He asked him what he meant by an evil spirit. Noino then told him that this place was originally an execution site during the Edo period, and that the sword was used to cut off the heads of criminals. But after that, all the thieves sent there started saying something strange. Then Miki appeared and told him they were deceived by this sword, which startled Katsuya. Miki then explained to him that Hatamomba deliberately drops money in front of people who need it and makes them use it, but that money should not be used. If it is, the person who used the money will be labeled a criminal, and their head will be mercilessly cut off. Noino then asked Miki to stop scaring Katsuya. However, Noino tried to reassure Katsuya, telling him it's locked in a small shrine now, and sealed with Shimenawa ropes used as a charm against evil, and that it's no longer dangerous. He also told him there's no need to be afraid. Then Katsuya remembered the rope that was cut by the crows and became astonished. Hiroshi then came to them and told Katsuya that something strange had happened to his little sister. Katsuya immediately went to his sister to check on her. He saw a cut on her neck, and Manami was in pain from this cut. Hiroshi said the broom fell on her when Manami opened the janitor's closet. Katsuya approached the broom and tried to pick it up, but his hands got cut, which surprised him. He then imagined the sharp broomstick and fell to the ground from extreme fear of the broom. But Hiroshi picked it up and told him it was a very ordinary broom. Katsuya then apologized to Manami for not helping her up. He helped her stand and asked her to go to the nurse's room. Suddenly, Katsuya heard the sound of the sword and looked behind him in wonder, which surprised Noeno, who then examined the broom. We cut to the schoolyard, where Katsuya told Kyoko and Hiroshi that he had picked up the money from Hatamomba and that he didn't know it was a very dangerous place. But Kyoko asked Katsuya why he picked up the money. Katsuya wanted to make his sister happy by buying the food she wanted, and he didn't have enough money for it. His sister was really looking forward to that crepe, and he takes care of her a lot until their parents return. This makes him a hero in her eyes, and the best brother in the world to her, and he didn't want to disappoint her. Kyoko then asked Katsuya if he used the money he picked up, but Katsuya thought the money was blessed and didn't feel like he was stealing. He wondered what he should do now. Hiroshi wondered if Hatamomba would forgive him if he apologized. Katsuya thought that was a good idea, to return the money and apologize, but going alone with just his sister would be risky. He asked Kyoko and Hiroshi if they could go with him. Kyoko agreed, but Hiroshi suggested they tell Noeno first before doing anything. Katsuya objected to telling Noeno he used the money he picked up. He begged them not to tell him and that he didn't want Hatamomba to harm his sister because she didn't steal like him. He was the one who did it. He also didn't want anything else to happen to her. They saw that they had no other choice, and that he owed them a lot now. Katsuya couldn't believe they agreed to this, and thanked them for helping him with this. We then cut to Hatamomba's shrine again. Katsuya showed the money he had picked up and apologized to Hatamomba, asking him for forgiveness. The others also bowed to it. When they turned to leave, thinking everything was over, the money appeared again and rolled toward Katsuya, which astonished him. As he was about to pick it up, the sword flew out of the shrine, hovering in the air, and fell right in front of him, which scared him. Katsuya, Kyoko, and Hiroshi were very surprised by this, and Manami wondered what was happening. Katsuya moved closer to her to protect her from harm, but then something strange happened. A voice started telling them they were criminals, and an image of a yokai appeared on the sword. Then, black magic began to emerge from the sword, and its shadow split into two. A yokai started to appear piece by piece until the sword transformed into a sharp circle with a yokai inside, telling them their heads must be cut off. The four of them felt scared, and Hiroshi told them to run. The yokai then ran after them, flew into the air, and was about to land on Katsuya and his sister's heads. But Katsuya dodged the attack, saving his sister as well, which caused the yokai to crash into the walls and get stuck. Katsuya then told his sister to run away quickly, saying he was in pain and couldn't move. Hiroshi and Kyoko called out to them to escape with them. Manami ran to Kyoko, and when Katsuya stood up to run, the yokai looked at him and told him he was a criminal, but Katsuya ran anyway, and the yokai started cutting through the walls to chase them. They all fled on their bikes, but the yokai didn't stop chasing them. Manami was terrified and cried from fear, and Katsuya was very worried about his sister. When he looked back, he saw the yokai chasing him and got very upset. Katsuya suggested he would distract it since it only wanted him and Manami. However, Hiroshi told him to head towards the school, saying that Noeno would do something about it and help him. Manami was worried about him too, but Katsuya stopped at a fork in the road and told them to go on, promising he would catch up right away. Katsuya then signaled to the yokai to get its attention and have it chase him alone. He took a different path and succeeded in drawing the yokai's attention away from the others, making it focus on chasing only him. While the yokai was chasing Katsuya, it shot a beam from its eye, cutting down a street sign to block Katsuya's path. But Katsuya managed to dodge it, surprised that he had done so, and that he had almost been hit. The yokai didn't give up on trying to kill Katsuya. It increased its speed and ran on the walls to jump down on Katsuya from above and cut off his head. When it got close and leaped down on him, Katsuya slammed on his brakes, stopping his bike and dodging the yokai's strike. This caused the yokai to fly past him and go down a different path, off Katsuya's course. Katsuya felt happy and thought he had succeeded, but then he heard the yokai's voice again, which shocked him. The yokai transformed a piece of metal into a sharp weapon and threw it at Katsuya, but Katsuya managed to escape so he wouldn't get hit. We then cut to Katsuya arriving at the school, where his friends were trying to open the school gate to get inside. Hiroshi was banging on the gate loudly, calling for Noeno. Minami saw Katsuya running on foot with the yokai still chasing him. Hiroshi was still trying to open the gate but wasn't succeeding. Then, Noeno opened the gate from the inside. They all went in and waited for Katsuya to enter. Noeno then slammed the gate in the yokai's face to stop it from getting in. The yokai tried to get in again and again but couldn't, which made Manami feel scared. Noeno asked, "Is this Hatamonba?" Katsuya was surprised and couldn't answer Noeno, but Kyoko and Hiroshi explained the situation to Noeno, telling him that Katsuya was trying to return the money he had used. Katsuya then confessed everything to Nono about what he did, explaining that he did it for his little sister to make her happy. But Nono saw that what Katsuya did was wrong, no matter the reason. However, he had regretted it and wanted to return the money. Katsuya confirmed to him that he had done so. While they were talking, Hatamonba succeeded in breaking through the barrier and reaching them. Noeno stood in front of his students to protect them and tried to explain the situation to Hatamonba, saying the boy didn't know better and was sorry for what he did, asking for his forgiveness. But Hatamonba just kept repeating one phrase, "Criminals must have their heads cut off." He then attacked them. Noeno told the students to hide because it was dangerous for them. Nono saw that talking was useless and revealed his hand, which held great power. Katsuya wondered if he could really do anything, and Hiroshi assured him that Noeno's hand was a demon hand and that it was stronger than any weapon. Noeno then chanted his magic spell. Hatamonba attacked Noeno, and Noeno blocked the attack with his demon hand. Noeno's hand almost split from the sharpness of Hatamonba's weapon until they moved away from each other. Hatamonba then attacked Noeno again, and Noeno blocked him once more until they were pushed apart again by the force of their power. The students thought Noeno had lost, and that this was impossible. They saw Noeno fall to the ground, while Hatamonba was still at full strength, which made them feel scared, and they ran away. As they were running, Minami tripped and fell to the ground, but Katsuya didn't leave her. He went back to carry her. Suddenly, a sharp blade appeared above them, about to land and cut off their heads. But Noeno intervened just in time and stopped the blade, which surprised the students and helped him regain his strength. He suggested they get away from there. They moved to the science lab, and Noeno created a paper barrier to stop Hatamonba from reaching them, doing so to buy some time. Kyoko asked Noeno if his hand was okay, and Noeno assured her it was better and that the demon hand had completely healed. Katsuya looked at him, feeling ashamed for being the cause of all this. Then he noticed that Manami was injured and became worried about her. He took out a handkerchief to tie up the wound to stop the bleeding. He apologized to her because everything happening was his fault, but Manami told him it wasn't his fault and that he did it for her, which surprised Katsuya. But Katsuya insisted he was the one at fault, saying he wanted to be cool, but it only led to her getting hurt, and that he was the worst brother ever. He then apologized to everyone. But Noeno said that if Katsuya was truly sorry for what he did, he didn't need to apologize. Then they heard Hatamonba's voice coming toward them. Hiroshi asked what they were going to do now. Kyoko also wondered how they would defeat it if his demon hand didn't work. Noeno figured that Hatamonba carried a powerful sword sharpened with blood, but if he could land a blow on an area not protected by the sword. Katsuya then suggested to Nono that he hand him over to Hatamonba, which surprised everyone. He said he was the one who put his friends and sister in this danger, and that he didn't care what happened to him. He asked Noeno to protect them, but Noeno strongly refused. However, Katsuya had an idea and wasn't going to just surrender to Hatamonba. Hatamonba approached the lab room and looked at them through his red eye to find them. He then entered the lab and began searching for them. Hiroshi, Kyoko, and Manami appeared before him. Hiroshi raised a white flag of surrender and told him that Katsuya was the villain, not them, and that he was the one who stole and used the money. But Hatamonba advanced on them quickly. Kyoko tried to explain that they hadn't done anything wrong and asked him to spare Katsuya. Hiroshi then pointed to where Katsuya was, and they moved away from his spot, telling Hatamonba to do what he wanted with him. Katsuya asked Hatamonba to forgive him and that he would return the money, but Hatamonba prepared to attack Katsuya. This made Katsuya very scared because he didn't want to die. Hatamonba attacked Katsuya but missed him, instead hitting his reflection in a mirror, which shattered it. Katsuya then told Nono to attack now. Noeno delivered a powerful blow to Hatamonba, which finished him off and returned him to a normal sword as he was before. This made the other students happy, certain that nothing could defeat the demon hand. Noeno was happy that he had succeeded and couldn't believe his students would do something so risky. Katsuya then remembered when Hatamonba got stuck and thought the same thing would happen again. He figured that since Hatamonba would chase him, he would definitely fall for the trap. Manami went up to Katsuya and hugged him because she was very worried about him. Katsuya felt relieved that his sister was okay. Then Noeno felt a sharp pain, and the appearance of his hand changed. We then cut to Hatamonba's temple. They returned the sword and tied the ropes again to keep it sealed. Katsuya apologized to Manami because she went through something scary because of him, but she said she wasn't scared because she she was with him and hugged him. Kyoko wished she had a little sister like her, but Hiroshi told her she didn't deserve one, which annoyed Kyoko and made her angry at him. Hiroshi ran away from her, but she chased after him, and the others laughed at them.